Hi, it's McKay. The start to any good relationship is connection. And when I am starting with any new horse, my very first thing is seeking that connection with them. And I've got 2.5-ish exercises to show you to hope to give you a sense of where your horse is at with human connection. When I first interact with a horse, one of the very first things I want to do is introduce myself before anything else. What that looks like is I'm going to walk up. I am not immediately going to touch their face. I would like for somebody to tell me in what world it is appropriate for me to go up to a stranger and grab their face. When I go and approach my horse, I am going to see if he has any responses or feelings about me having my hands near him. And then I'm going to put my hands more so on his neck, lower neck, and shoulder. See how he feels about that. Right now, because I know him, I'm moving a little faster than I would with another horse, but I'm seeing how he responds, his head dropping, lips wobbling, ears, eyes, even his nose tells me a lot. He's checking me out. He's not as sure about me coming back farther on his back. So with a horse that I haven't met before, this might be where I stop. I might do a visual check to see if he's got anything that I should be aware of on his butt or on his legs. I'm also going to run my hands down his legs, see if he's got any shyness, all the while watching his face. I also love checking underneath a horse's stomach to see if they're comfy with that level of intimacy with him. He's not totally sure. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Same idea. I like to start at the shoulders and kind of work my way back and down. And then I'll work my way up towards the end, see if he's willing to relax. He gave me a little lip wobble there. And then I might just give him some rubs and scratches on his face if he's not telling me that he's wanting space or upset with my attention and affections. The next step that I use when I'm figuring out where my horse and I are in our connection is full at liberty. You can choose to use a whip depending on how much go your horse has, but I'm trying to see how well they respond to energy versus just, well, having tack or supplements as your connection points. So when I'm working with them, I want to see how much does it take to ask them to move out and move away. I also want to see if they are willing to match my energy. If I come up here and I'm all excited, Ronnie's going to do this really nice fast trot and perhaps bring his head up a little bit. And if I bring my energy back down and relax, I want to see him slow and relax. Now, you may have a horse, and trust me, I've seen so many of these, that as they're going along, they are pushed up against the fence. They've got their shoulders rubbing the bars of the fence and their head is over the top rail. They are so far removed from the conversation that they're not looking to engage. If that is the case, I'm going to highly recommend that liberty lunging at that point is not going to be the most effective. And instead, hand walks and asking your horse for just some of their time with, rubbing your hands over them or showing them that cookies and good affection things come from you are going to be such helpful steps for building that relationship up. With Ronnie, and if I'm going and looking at a horse though, the main things that I'm looking for is, will they walk when I ask? Will they trot when I ask? So, trot. Good boy. Can they speed their trot up with me? Good boy. Can they canter? And how much does it take to get them to canter? This is also Whoop. This is also a lovely baseline to see how does your horse move naturally without you telling them, here's how to put your body, here's the frame you want them in. So here, good boy. I'm also looking for, will they relax, or does the whip just make them go crazy? You also might try dropping the whip, see if you can just use your body language with them. And then finally, I'm gonna see, can I bring them back down from that canter to this trot and now into a walk? Easy. Ronnie's got a fair bit of go, and so we're practicing letting him settle his mind so that he can walk. And some horses, instead of being pushed up against the fence, all they're going to be able to do is trot, 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 just like Ronnie. Easy. We used to be like that, and we've been doing a whole bunch of practice to get a little better. And I have so many tips and tricks for helping bring that calmness down and find further connection. So stay tuned for those. But the next thing that I want to see is, will he draw into me, good boy, and reverse direction? Why this is such an important thing to see is their heads are very sensitive and vulnerable parts of the horse. So I want to see, will he turn that so sensitive part in towards me that could be perceived as a threat, and reverse direction. A lot of horses not seeking connection or not interested in being in a conversation with you are going to, let's see if I can do it, are going to turn, Ronnie says, I know the right thing to do, are going to turn their butts towards you. And in any sort of situation where a horse is trying to back another horse off, they turn their butts at that other horse. I would prefer not to have my horses have that sort of conversation with me. So I want to see, will they turn their heads towards me? And as you can see with Ronnie, that is my default. I always, always, always want a horse turning their head towards me. And then last but not least, I want to see how well my horse stops. Walk up, good boy. If I give that stop command, I want all four hooves to plant. So ho, and see right there, he is desiring connection so much that he starts to take a few steps forward. And I love that for demonstrating that he wants to come in towards me. But if I want a horse that plants all four hooves when I say stop, then I need to be so consistent about when I say the word ho, he stops. From there, once I've gotten a nice stop and he looks like he's wanting to come towards me, that's where I'll see if he wants to draw into me, and I turn my shoulder to open my body up for him to come into me. Good boy. And that's another area where if your horse seems to be getting everything except the join up, this move here, there are so many other useful habits and things that I do to get both of my horses, both my little pocket pony and my less interested guy, really in connection and in conversation with me. So all this, as well as our final tip, are all the things that I'm going to do to help my horses see their benchmark for connection. My final step is in hand, and incidentally, this is also typically my starting step when working with a horse that at least has been halter broke. Please don't attempt if your horse is not halter broke. I'm going to halter my horse. My very first thing is honestly seeing if he wants to put his nose in the halter. Horses that have zero interest in putting their noses in the halter tend not to be really interested in what you have to communicate. My second bit is I never, having worked with so many horses, I never lead a horse from right under their chin. I've heard of broken and ripped off fingers, and really, if a horse spooks, I want a good bit of distance for me to be away from the horse and the horse to go around me, not through me. So when I'm leading, it's really important that we have a set of ground rules that they are going to understand and respect. So what that looks like is a well-trained horse doesn't take a whole lot of contact to start walking. And that's the first thing I'm going to see is how much effort does it take for him to start walking. From there, as we're walking around, is he pulling in front of me, trying to switch sides, or directly behind me? All of those things tell me that there's a breakdown in our communication that we should work on improving. So, if he's walking out in front of me, again, right here, I am in danger of having him spook from something on his right side and basically being body slammed by a horse. I'd like to prevent that from happening. So we're going to make sure that as we're walking, he is nicely behind or just off of my eye. If he gets too far in front of me, I'm going to see how much it takes to back him off. His training means he knows just an arm lift slows him down. I'm also going to see how our turning is. If I feel like I am trying to drag him through mud and cement and everything else, we have a problem in communication. So I'm going to back up a few steps and see if I can just ask for one single step. Good boy. And I'm also going to do it and ask him off to the side. Good. Not directly forward. Directly forward gives me a great opportunity for him to brace. And his neck gets a little stiff, his head comes up, all things I don't really want to have happen. I would much rather ask him off to the side in either direction and ask him as gently as possible, not muscling him. From there, I would love to see how he does with his buttons being pushed. So my very first one is, will he move his shoulder? So I want him to move his front legs in the direction I'm asking him to move, not his back legs. Good boy. And then the other one is, will he move his hindquarters and how much contact does it take? So I'm going to come and just ask, good, for him to give that hindquarter over. Good boy. And does he do it on the other side? Good boy. Good boy. Last but not least, I can't tell you how many horses I've surprisingly encountered that can't back up. Can my horse back up? And if they can, are they doing it in nice frame and carriage? Are they dragging their feet back? In all honesty, Kiro drags his feet. Or are they picking up their back and stepping back into the movement? And even further, if you're walking, do you have to be facing them? Or can you do it facing in the exact same direction as your horse? All of these things are the tips and tricks I use to see how my horse is doing and if they're open to connection and the steps to hopefully repair and create our relationship and our communication pathways. One last tip for connection. Every single horse I've worked with has an itchy, scratchy spot that they love their scratches. If you know where it is, go scratch your horses. If you don't, try to go find it. See if you can get that full neck extension and lip wobble and big sigh of contentment. Otherwise, if you have any questions, put them in the comments for me. And if you want some more tips, tricks, and things that I do for connection, come on by my channel.